Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to my video. Okay, this is video I will explain about the passive chapter 11. Okay, what is the passive? The passive form is the verb that has the same form as the medial form, except in the future tense and the aorist tense. In the passive forms, the action informed of the subject. For example, he always slept by his girlfriend. Okay, next forming the passive. In the active, Mary helped the boy. Mary is subject, helped is verb, the boy is object. In the passive, the boy was helped by Mary. The boy is subject, was helped is verb, and in the passive, the object of an active verb becomes the subject of the passive verbs. The boy in A becomes the subject of the passive verb in the B. Notice that the subject of an active verb follows by in a passive sentence, the noun that follows by in the passive sentence, the noun that follows by is called the agent. In B, Mary is the agent, Mary is the agent. A and B have the same meaning. And then using the passive. The passive voice is using when we want to focus attention on the person or thing affected by the action. Normally, the performer of the action or the agent comes first and is made the subject of the verb, and then we use this active form of the verb. The other person or thing is made the object of the verb.
In our book, using the passive, A. Rice is grown in India. B. Our house was built in 1918. C. This olive oil was imported from Crete. Usually the passive is used without by praise. The passive is most frequently used when it is not known or not important to know exactly who performs an action. In A, rice is grown in India by people, by farmers, by someone. It is not known or important to know exactly who grows rice in India. A, B, and C illustrate the most common use of the passive without the by phrase. And D, Life on the Mississippi was written by Mark Twain. The by phrase is included only if it is important to know who performs an action, is as in D, whereby Mark Twain is important information. E, my aunt made this rug. If the speaker knows who performs an action, usually the active is used as in F, this rug was made by my aunt. That rug was made by my mother. Sometimes even when the speaker knows who performs an action, she chooses to use the passive with the by phrase because she wants to focus attention on the subject of a sentence. In F, the focus of attention is on two rugs.
And the next, indirect object used as passive subject. A verb can have two possible passive voice when it takes two objects, a direct object and an indirect object. Normally, it is the indirect object or the sentence which becomes the subject of the passive sentence. We can, however, also use the direct object as the subject. Okay, next the passive forms, modals, and partial modals. To passive forms. For all modals and some partial modals, the only difference is change be to have been. So the structure becomes modals or modal pairs plus have been plus the past participle.
This is the sentence with the passive forms of modals and partial modals. A. Tom will be invited to the picnic. B. The window can be opened. C. Children should be taught to respect their elders. D. May I be excused from class? E. This book had better be returned to the library before Friday. F. This letter ought to be sent before June 1st. H. Mary has to be told about our change in plans. H. Fred is supposed to be told about the meeting. The past passive forms, modal plus have been plus past participle. The letter should have been sent last week. This house must have been built over 200 years ago. Jack ought to have been invited to the party.
Stative passive is used to express an existing state. Notice the difference between the sentence below. Fact: I locked the door 6 minutes ago. Passive voice: the door was locked by me 6 minutes ago. And stative passive: now the door is locked. Common stative passive verbs plus prepositions. Stative verbs, verbs that indicate states passive, are mostly used with a preposition. For example, I'm interested in folk music. Okay, I think that's all enough. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.